Hey everyone, and welcome to the first official episode. I'm Elaine. I am the host, and my pronouns are she, her. And I'm here today with a very special guest. Do you want to introduce yourself and share your pronouns with the listeners?
Yes, my name is Hazel, and my pronouns are she, her, and I'm so excited to do this.
Yay, thank you so much for being here. I brought Hazel on here. She kindly agreed to talk to me about this because she is my witchiest friend and
Yes!
has probably the most knowledge of anyone I know about this topic. And I thought it would be a really great opportunity to learn from someone who is currently practicing, to get a sense of what it's like to incorporate this into your daily life. And I have some questions for you. First, I kind of wanted to start with what first drew you to witchcraft. Like, when did you get the idea that you're like, this might be for me, this practice?
It's really been like this year that I not only just like fully honed my own practice, but also like became really outspoken about it. A lot of people say that kind of something you realize you've always been doing. I've always been a person that like the second I realize that I've been doing something and I can kind of put a name to it, then I kind of just double down, and that's how it's like been this year. It's kind of funny because it started last year when I was watching Agatha All Along. And I don't know why, but like I just was feeling kind of like purposeless. And I've always been interested in like occult things and even just like whimsical things. Like I've always been the one who's reading like the fairy books and making fake potions and stuff. But I kind of just shoved it down that it was like a childish thing, or that it was just something I did before we had phones, when I like was left to my own devices, you know? Me and my boyfriend were watching Agatha All Along, and the intro of the show has just like a lot of witchcraft from pop culture. There's Wizard of Oz moments, there's The Craft, there's Charmed, and like those are all staples of my personality already. Like Charmed, Wizard of Oz, like those things really like affected me growing up. And I just was like, you know what? Why don't I try this thing that I thought was kind of like just for fun? Why don't I actually see if like I could do something with it? Kind of felt like maybe I'll just sit in this identity for like a little bit and take it seriously and see if anything comes of it. And so that's like how it started.
Awesome. Yeah, so that's interesting. You were never kind of like, you didn't come from this kind of like skeptical background. You kind of always had this like connection to it. You always sort of believed in it, but you just weren't letting yourself like really immerse yourself in it.
Yeah, it's interesting. Most things in my life, I'm not usually the person who immediately decides how I feel about it, if that makes any sense. Mm-hmm. I kind of didn't even realize I was perpetuating the idea that other people would tell me, which was like, of course, magic isn't real. Mm-hmm. That's kind of just like one of those adult things that gets like thrown around, right? Or like it's fun to make believe, but like that's it. But I never sat in that. I've always been a believer in magical things. I just didn't know the extent of it. I definitely believe in ghosts. I've had some ghost encounters when I was a kid. I definitely believe in like psychic readers. I know people who have had like really amazing experiences in those things, but I just have never done that. Like I've never gone and gotten my birth chart read or gotten my cards read or like actually delved into it. I just like, I don't know why. I think it's because I was so focused on music, which is like so interesting that like, because I decided I was gonna do music, like that was gonna be the thing in my life that gave me purpose, I almost like boxed myself off from pursuing anything else, which is also like really interesting and hard because this was the year that I took a step back from music and like actively decided I wasn't gonna work on music because it was burning me out. And the second I did that, I like fell into witchcraft, which ended up utilizing a lot of the skills that I had worked on as a musician. My poetry and my song lyrics, like I can turn that shit into spells like really easy.
What a cool connection to draw between music and like, I wouldn't have thought of that, but you're so right that like you can incorporate like, yeah, like songwriting in a way. That's so cool. The reason I ask is because for me, it's sort of like I'm still like very beginnings of this journey because like it's something I can tell that I want to like get deeper involved with, but it's sort of been pushed aside for a long time, and I haven't like reached a point of kind of like devoting time to it enough to be like making it a daily practice and things. And also I feel like I come from kind of like a skeptical background with it, where like I kind of didn't like allow myself to sort of believe in magic. And like my family, like I love my family, but they were like very much like, they didn't even really like fantasy movies and things. They just like wasn't their thing. So it was something I was kind of like not as open to. But then in more recent years, the more I've been open to it, the more I like notice things. Like I like notice like coincidences, like but they're not really, you know. And it's like I feel like the more you start to like notice it just like really makes itself apparent.
Absolutely. Like we can totally talk on that more. That's the thing that's happened this year that has been the weirdest for me, is the kind of coincidences. And there's that thing about like glimmers being like the opposite of triggers, like moments that really just you're like, wow, life is beautiful, like those sort of like glimmers. Like it's insane the amount of times that those things have happened for me this year, and the amount of like magic I've noticed and witnessed when I wasn't doing anything, like when I wasn't actively like spellcrafting. And that's the thing that has made me really outspoken about it. Is I was talking to my brother Matt about this, but witchcraft has been like a way for me to come home to music. Like I have so many music ideas, and I've like fallen back in love with the idea of like doing music again when the whole point was for me to stop. And then also like mental health. Like witchcraft to me is self-care and mental health, and that's also why it's like made my life so incredible, is I'm like really prioritizing myself and my well-being when I never used to. It used to be another thing that like would just happen if I had the time, and that's like so not that's never gonna happen that way. Like you really have to carve out space for yourself to like heal, or else it's not gonna happen, you know?
Yeah. Can you say more about, like, you said that you've kind of like, you've noticed magic when you're not even spellcrafting, you've like noticed it around you?
It's kind of annoying because a lot of like, okay, now that I'm surrounded by like a lot of practitioners, like I got a job at a metaphysical shop, so I am surrounded by this stuff all day, and we have like amazing conversations about like how magic works and all these things. There really is this rule where if you are trying to manifest something, you're trying to do a spell to have a specific thing happen, the most important part of it is that after it's done, you don't think about it and you don't assume it's not gonna work. Like a big part of magic is the belief that what you did make a difference, even if you have no evidence to back it, which is like really hard. Like I still struggle with that. Like if I was doing a lot of money working a couple months ago, and like almost to an obsessive amount, because I have a lot of credit card debt that I need to pay off. And so I just was like, this money spell and this money thing, and I got to do everything, you know, and like I'm going to try this and I'm going to try that, whatever. And it's kind of funny though, because even though I struggle myself with the idea that like, okay, it's just going to work, you get to a point where you've done everything you can do, that you just have to let it go. You just have to be like, I did what I did, right? Like I did my freaking best. Like I got to go on with my day. I got to go buy groceries and go to work, right? And those are the moments that you stop thinking about things, that they fall into place. When I started running headfirst at the idea that like I have control over my surroundings, because I think I also really decided to do this because I was feeling really powerless in my own life, which is like so sad. I was really feeling that I didn't have control over my circumstances. If I was unhappy with a job or a situation or my money or whatever, that it just like was gonna be like that forever. And that's not the kind of person I want to be. When I'm at my best, I am an optimist, right? And it's kind of gotten harder over the years, and just like living in LA and kind of being a struggling artist, whatever that means to anybody, you know, and I just was getting more pessimistic as the days went on. And that's another reason why I was just like, how can I say I don't have control over my environment if I'm not trying to change it? And a lot of times, like, that's a lot of the magic that ends up working, is that you've just decided that like you can be in control of your life. Like, you're not gonna accept the defeatist mentality, you know? And that has been like really big for me. And so I started keeping a running list in my phone this year of like magic moments where things have proven to me that magic is real. And I'm on like, I can pull it up, but I have like 50 items or something, or like 70 items where like anytime something happened, and it's not just nothing. It's not like I found a penny on the floor, you know? It's like I landed this crazy job that everyone is telling me they've been applying to for 20 years, and how the hell did I get it? Or like I met this celebrity that I was like obsessing over for no reason, and like I happened to be at this exact place at this exact time, and like just really weird things that have no way that they should have happened, but they did, like things lining up too perfectly, you know? And the list is long. And that also is like, that's like really, once you see it, you can't unsee it. That's like that's the magic thing, right? Like once you see all these things, it's like, how can I go back to pretending like magic isn't real when I've kind of very tangibly noticed, you know?
Yeah. I feel like even those kind of regular things that people brush off as like, oh, it's just like it's a small world or something, and it's like, is it a small world, or are we like all kind of connected by threads, you know? It's
no,
like,
totally.
once you start like paying attention to that feeling you get where you're like, oh, you like notice something that's happened, it's like, it probably wasn't just like an accident. It's funny that you have like a list of things. That's awesome. Like a way to kind of keep track.
I should have read over it before we started, because I can't even remember what's on it. I have yet to go back, really. I just like started it in December of last year, and then just like I keep updating it. Because I've been interested in these things my whole life, I didn't realize that I knew more than I thought I knew. And so kind of deciding to double down on things, your brain almost pulls up the things from your past that you had learned that you didn't realize you had even learned. So I find myself being able to like answer certain questions or talk to certain people about things that I learned when I was like a kid, or from like a children's book or something that I'm like, oh, I know this about fairies, blah, 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 you know? And then people, and even the idea that people can be like, oh, that's a really good response, or like, oh, wow, you actually know about this or this or this, like, that is really affirming. And I wasn't really getting that in my life. Not that we need to have external validation, but like a little bit of it is nice if you feel like you've been starved of it, you know?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, there's a reason, like, I feel like people practice together too, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
How often would you say that you practice? Like, are there things you do every day? Is it more of just kind of, I mean, it sounds like you kind of carry it with you all the time, but are there sort of like practices that you think are sort of important to do every day?
I definitely feel a little sad that just currently I haven't had a lot of free time, and if I'm like going, then I'm not gonna really have time to do the things I wish I could sit down and do. When I'm like a little more unemployed or I have a little more free time, I'm like really ritualistic, which is kind of fun. That's how it really started for me, is I just made like a ritual out of everything. If I was going to pull tarot cards, I would like put down a fancy blanket, and I would light a bunch of candles, and I would like burn some incense, and I would like come up with a little poem about creating a sacred space, and then I would pull some cards. Like, I made it a thing, and that's why I think it's been really beneficial for my mental health, is I never gave myself a reason to slow down until like this year, and those moments have been really beneficial for me to just like calm my brain, you know? It's really important to understand that anybody you talk to who identifies as a witch, who has like good intentions, will say to you that it really is something you are and not something you do. You really live the idea of just being more intentional and being more aware and seeing the world through a different lens. That's been the thing that's been like really awesome for me is even if I feel like I don't have time to do something big and extravagant, even though that's fun, it really is just the way I look at things that has changed. And if I'm gonna do anything, I try to make it like a little bit ritualistic. Like if I have a second, I'm gonna like speak over my coffee in the morning as I'm stirring it, or I'm gonna like bring one of my ritual oils with me that's like for a certain purpose and like put it on before I go into work. I've always in my whole life felt like poetry came really easy to me, and I really love it. And it was always like the second step of putting the poetry to music that like was hard for me. And so now I can kind of just like come up with poetry and have them be spells instead, or like little mantras. And so I came up with, and this doesn't even rhyme, but I came up with this like early in the year, just like an affirmation for myself. And I have a little spray bottle I filled with Florida water. If I get out of the shower or any time throughout the day that I just have a second to refresh, I will spray it on me in kind of like a pentagram shape, and I will like say my little mantra. And it's literally just, I am happy, I am healthy, I am loved, I am safe, I am protected, and I am strong. And like that's it. Like I just do that. But I'm like taking a moment where like nobody's messing with me. No, my roommate's not talking to me. I'm not listening to music. I'm just like taking a sec. And that alone can be very life-changing. Like you can strip the day away. You can decide that that's going to be the start of you walking into a new situation. You can kind of use it for anything, but it's just like a moment for you, you know?
I love how you're tying it into like a mental health practice too, because that makes so much sense to me that it's like been helpful for you that way.
Thank you. It's like funny because I've done therapy for the last like couple years, and I'm a really big advocate for it, but I also personally have had a really hard time implementing things. Like I can do talk therapy all day. I can talk about what the heck's bothering me, but if they're like, okay, now the next time you have a negative thought, rewire it. I'm like, how the heck do you do that? Like how, like, I don't know what you're talking about, you know?
Right. But then you have like this ritual attached to it that it like helps you bring that into the moment too.
Mm-hmm. Things really stick. Like that's something I did like once, like months ago, and then for some reason just was like, I'll do it every time I come out of the shower. And then I was like, I'll do it when I come home from work. And then it became a thing that I'm doing like a couple times a day because it was easy to memorize. I have my Florida water in a bottle, and like it's very low resistance. It doesn't take a lot for me to be like, oh, let me just like spray myself with some really nice smelling perfume for no reason and like say a little ditty, you know?
Yeah, it's like habit stacking, actually, what you just described. Yeah, it's, very interesting. I was curious if you have rules or tips, things that you think are like really important for someone who's like brand new to witchcraft, like things that they might not know, that they should know going into it.
I'm like so grateful to like even be able to talk about like my practice because I'm learning and figuring it out too, you know? I guess if I had to come up with some stuff, it would definitely be, don't feel like you need to know everything to start. You literally can start with like nothing. Like I bought like a Halloween candle last year, like a fake flickering wick candle that had like a cool graphic on it. And I bought like a spell blanket that's just like you lay it down and it just has like some words on it already. And that's all I had. And I would just sit there and meditate. Like at first I was literally just meditating. And that's because I really like meditation. And yeah, I don't know what's up with me. I'm a huge like mental health person. Like that's something I've researched a lot, probably more than like the occult and witchcraft, but I never gave myself a reason to do it, or I always thought that like it was frivolous and I should be doing other stuff instead of making time for it. And that's what happened with witchcraft is I was like, I'm just gonna sit on this spell blanket and light this candle and like and say over the candle like I've cast a circle now, period, you know, period. And then just sit there for like 10-20 minutes and like meditate. And that's like all I did for like a couple weeks probably. Or I would just like pull a tarot card before bed. Like I wouldn't even say anything or do anything. I would just like, oh, I'm gonna start pulling cards, and then I'll just like write down what card I pulled, and like that's it. And it's the little stuff like that that really ends up stacking into a practice and ends up teaching you what you enjoy and what you don't. Because the best thing about witchcraft, and I will fight people about this, is that there are no rules. If someone tells you you have to do something a certain way, they are not your friend. The only rule really is don't appropriate, which I have to say, you know, like, be respectful of other cultures, obviously. But besides that, like, there are people whose daily practice looks way different than mine will ever look, and there are people who are really interested in different facets of witchcraft that maybe don't appeal to me at all, and that's, like, totally cool, you know? Like, even my brand of, like, kind of music and mental health isn't going to be for everybody. You really have to just, like, trial and error what you like and research the things that you like, and if it feels right, if it feels like it's making you happier or giving you a little bit of joy, then just, like, cling to that, because that's, like, what's worked for me.
I feel like with witchcraft, most people I've talked to about it, and including yourself, have said, like, it's kind of wrong for someone to tell you that you're doing it wrong, which I love, and I think that's, like, a really cool aspect of it.